Hey, welcome back to Door Talk. We're now in a new year,
Yep.
2021. 2020 is behind us.
Thankfully.
Yes, thankfully. And we hope you had a great holiday season. We're starting back with Door Talk with some awesome topics today.
Oh, yeah.
And Austin, tell them what we're going to be talking about today.
Well, guys, today we're going to be talking about cameras, different types of cameras out there, the recorders, NVRs, DVRs, that type of thing. So we're excited to be able to talk to you guys about this today.
Yeah, so in the line of business that we're in, doors, frames, hardware, access control, security is our top priority. So we love to be able to talk about not only access control and door security and that kind of stuff, but cameras is at the top of our list because there's so many variations on cameras. Used to, Austin, I know that we've all seen them in our retrofits in the field. We saw these gigantic cameras that were about like that.
Oh,
They were
yeah.
in these enclosures, and you had to take the enclosure apart and adjust the lens,
Yep.
and it was a nightmare. And closed circuit TVs, what we call CCTV, used to be something that was really expensive, and only high end businesses, high end places had it.
Yep.
But nowadays, everybody from a small business owner to a large corporation to even a homeowner can have a great quality security system for a decent price. And that's what we want to talk to you about today. So, Austin, tell us a little bit about the differences that are out there existing on the market right now as far as types of cameras.
Well, Matt, the ones that we see the most are, first off, let's talk about the different types. We have what's called a bullet camera. And this is mainly, you'll see this used on the exterior buildings and stuff like that.
Especially like metal buildings.
Metal
and
buildings,
stuff.
yeah.
Okay.
And they're good for reaching around corners and things of that nature. We have the Vandal Dome camera, which you see in a lot of your interior of your stores and things of that nature. Normally you'll see these cameras inside just because of, the condensation stuff can build up in the lens. Now they do have cameras, have heaters and stuff, but we won't get into that right now. Then we also have turret cameras, which are these right here. Both of these cameras are actually turret cameras.
And a lot of people also refer to these as eyeball cameras.
Eyeball cameras, yeah.
So, and basically what that means is it gives you the same flexibility and motion of 360 configuration and adjustment as a Vandal Dome security, but you don't have to take a lens cover off. You have full flexibility with just the adjustment of a couple Allen screws, sometimes a compression ring that just tightens at the bottom of the camera, or whatever it might be for adjustment.
And the main difference between these two is, one, pricing. These are normally a little bit cheaper than the Vandal Domes. Your Vandal Domes were made so that somebody can't, for that, what they're called Vandal Domes, so that they can't be vandalized as easily. That's the big purpose of those. But also, we have our three different main types of cameras. There's obviously more out there, but these are our main types that we see. Then we also have different varieties we have IP cameras, TVI, and then you have some cameras that you don't really see them anymore. That I think are called standard cameras or something like that, that actually direct connected to a monitor. They didn't record or anything, and you could connect multiple of them up to the monitors.
Anything standard definition. Your TVI cameras refer to an HD camera over a standard. You can basically reuse your wiring, your coaxial wiring. A lot of times it's RG59, sometimes RG6. You can reuse that wiring if you have standard definition cameras such as this, and you can upgrade it to what we call a TVI or an SD over HDI, or a HD over SDI, I should say, cable application. That way, if you've already got standard definition cameras, you don't necessarily have to pull new wire to upgrade to those cameras. But a lot of manufacturers are still offering a camera that's backwards compatible with your standard definition DVRs to allow you the flexibility to use a standard definition camera on a standard definition DVR. That way, if you've got a lot of cameras and you've got a lot of DVR storage space already there, you don't want to upgrade, you still have that flexibility. But the way the industry's going, DVRs, NVRs, cameras, they're so inexpensive nowadays for a high quality image that it's almost makes better sense, from a budget standpoint, to upgrade everything at the same time.
It does, and a lot of the industry now we see as moving towards what we haven't talked about yet is the IP cameras, which is going to be a camera that's ran over. It was Cat 5e. Now they're starting to transition into Cat 6 cable to use, but it still runs fine on Cat 5e. But some of the higher quality cameras do want you to run on Cat 6. So they do, and the great thing about that is that what you're losing with using a IP camera is you don't have to necessarily have a power supply,
Right.
And you can just run one singular cable to the
Right.
camera.
And that's good because a lot of corporations, a lot of businesses already have network infrastructure. So a lot of times it's just, if you're adding 4, 5, 6, maybe even 8 cameras, you might have available ports on your network switch that's probably already set up, and you can plug directly into that network switch. If you have an NVR that has built-in PoE, you can plug directly into the back of that unit. And people, the immediate question is bandwidth. How does it affect my bandwidth? Well, if you're on the same network, the same LAN, the same local area network, you're not going to see a huge spike in bandwidth. The only problem that you're ever going to have with bandwidth is if you have several buildings that are connected together through fiber or through VPN, and then you might see some bandwidth drops. But as long as you have a dedicated recorder at each of those sites, and you're only sending the camera feed from the local area network on the same switch and on the same network, you're not going to see an issue with bandwidth because it's the DVR unit and the cameras are going to do the work for you to compress that video in such a quality that it's easy to see and maintain.
And here's the big thing with IP cameras that's great about them is most of your NVR. So, and also we have your different type of DVRs, which would be a DVR, which would be what you would use for the TVI and things of that nature. And then you have your NVRs, which you would use for your IP cameras. The NVRs, most of the time they have plugs on the back of them with PoE power and everything on them. But the great thing is that if you have a camera that's not near your NVR, but you have a network port or switch that's near it, you can just run that camera into that switch and not have to use as much cabling, because most your IP cameras on a Cat 5e cable is a maximum of 300 foot. So now they do have extenders and things of that nature, but most people, that's why they go with IP cameras, so that they can get into that closest network closet.
Right, and that's the advantage of that. So whatever your needs and your desires are as far as your camera system goes, there's pros and cons for everyone, and we're going to spend some more time in the future going over similar applications where what cameras work better and what applications, and even some possible budgetary packages that can be offered through the Door Talk website, as well as Warren Door and Access Control's website, securingthesoutheast.com. So look for more info there, and we'll post links to some possible packages that we can offer you guys. But we're not here just to sell you something. We want you to understand and get the best need for your business. If that's supplied by somebody like us, that's great. If it's your local vendor, your local supplier, that's great too. But make sure you're asking the right questions, and those right questions are: make sure you're getting something high quality. Especially if you're buying something new, make sure you're getting a product that's not at the end of its life cycle, because you don't want a camera series that you're going to buy a dozen of them today and then tomorrow they're going to be out of date. You want something that's relatively new, that's cutting edge technology, even if it requires an additional purchase up front. That $30 or $40 camera might look really good on the internet, but they're probably clearancing it out for a reason. It's probably going away. And
the big thing is, we see it all the time. A customer will ask about a camera system, and then they go to Walmart or Sam's or Home Depot, and they say, well, but I can get this whole package here for way less than what you're trying to sell, or what you quoted me. Well, the thing is most of those cameras, up front, the quality and the specs may look the same, but when you put that camera up and that camera only lasts 6 months, versus these cameras that have been tested and weather rated and IP rated and are made for commercial use or made to last. That's where the big difference comes in, is those cameras normally don't last as long.
Right. And here's what we found nowadays. Warranty is a big issue. Used to, it was unheard of to have a 2-year warranty on any electronic product. And a lot of those big box retailers are only going to give you 90 days
Yep.
return or maybe a 1 year factory warranty, and you're going to spend that entire year trying to get that replacement through that company that doesn't want to send it to you. So a 1 year warranty used to be the industry standard for stuff like this, but recently manufacturers, such as Avicon and a few other lines that we carry, the H series and the R series, um, and other camera vendors have now upped their warranty to 3 years
Yeah.
standard on most equipment, with the exception of some pan tilt zoom cameras and stuff like that. But if you can't find a standard camera, a bullet or an eyeball or a Vandal Dome camera that has a 3 year warranty, don't buy it. Don't buy it, because
Yeah.
every manufacturer on the market that's worth its weight in gold will have a camera with a decent warranty. That way you know it's covered. The labor might not be covered for a 3 year period necessarily, but the parts are going to be, and you're going to know that for at least 3 years, in most cases 5 years on some of these manufacturers, you have the peace of mind of knowing that you have a warranty replacement that is on the horizon if necessary.
And guys, keep in mind the camera industry is changing daily. There's always new stuff coming out, new technology, new features. We want to be able to bring that to you guys, to be able to keep you updated on what's coming out and what's new, because that's what we love to see. We love to see the
Yeah.
industry changing all the time, and we want to bring those changes to you so you stay updated as well.
Right. And so let's talk about the other options that we have, that's not on the table here that we haven't covered. We have pan tilt zoom cameras. Pan tilt zoom camera used to be something that you would only see at a high end location, that was operated by a security guard by a joystick, and he would be out there
Yeah.
sitting behind a desk operating. But nowadays, pan tilt zoom cameras are feasible for everybody. We have these things starting anywhere from about $400 up to $3,000, $4,000, $10,000, whatever price range you want in between that, you have availability to get. And they also have incredible features. They have pan tilt zoom cameras that now have built-in Wi-Fi that will connect to the local area network through a Wi-Fi signal, and all you have to apply is power. They have them that are pre-programmable, with you can set them on an auto cruise
Yep.
feature to pre-program 10, 12, 24, 100 different points across your facility or your parking lot, as well as a lot of other features.
We have one here at our office that actually has smart tracking, which is really cool. You walk in the door and this camera actually follows you around 360 degrees, so that if somebody walks in through a door and you want them to be able to see where they're going, that camera will do that. There's amazing technology coming out with these pan tilt zooms that it just has never happened
I
before.
watched a demo the other day on another company that we represent and that we can purchase, Spico. We've talked to Spico and our rep about a few offerings there, but we watched a demo on some products that they have, and they now have facial tracking features that literally you can set up within the DVR. You can pair that with certain vendors' access control systems that will flag you and send you an email, send you, whatever kind of communication you choose when a particular person has entered the building.
Wow.
And the way that they showed this on the demo that it can take place is they actually just took a picture of the person, held it up, archived it, and the next time that person, of course, this was a demo, so it was just one of their reps. Next time he walked in the building, it sent the flag in, and they are now working because of the COVID pandemic and everything that we're facing with face masks. They are rolling out probably at the end of this month, the first of next month, the option to be able to do that with face mask.
Wow.
So to do that facial tracking with face mask on and still have that recognition of who it is just by judging the upper part of the face, which is incredible.
In which we've seen the facial recognition cameras the systems that actually do temperature and facial recognition. They can still recognize you with a mask
and we
on.
talked about that a few weeks ago. And so the technology's there. It's getting better every single day. So don't hesitate. Reach out to us here at doortalk.com. We can answer any questions. If you see an opportunity or you want to see a program and have us cover some different topics, let us know. We'll be happy to. But as of the program today, I think that's about it.
Yeah.
But Look for it in days to come because we're going to cover and get a little bit deeper into cameras, CCTV, and the types of offerings on DVRs. And we're going to talk about how DVRs and camera systems can integrate with your access control platforms as well. So look for that on episodes to come, and we'll see you later. Bye.